grow the culture, arts, and tourism industry. And this is part of the 24-hour economy initiative that has been launched by the government, and we are trying to get an overview of that, get understanding it into what really this entails for the creative industry. We will be talking to somebody from the 24-hour economy. This is Mrs. Samlara Ba Kodia, and she is a program lead, social transformation and civic engagement of the 24-hour economy. We speak to her to find out what really this one entails, and she's on the phone right now. Let's speak to her and find out more. Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
And how are you doing?
I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us right here on Daybreak Hits 103.9 FM. What is the Show 24 portion of the 24-hour economy all about? Give us an overview of that.
An overview, no problem. So, Kwame, I think in simple terms, it's Ghana's big, bold push to transform our culture, arts, and tourism into a serious economic powerhouse. It's a part of the wider 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program to build a self-reliant, productive, and proud Ghana. Many people think of culture as something we enjoy as festivals or admire in museums, but Show 24 says that culture is also a major job creator, a source of foreign exchange, and a tool for building national unity.
How different is this particular document from the things enshrined in the manifesto?
Okay, so I think I think of it from this perspective of, I'll break it down. So first, into three portions. First, when we look at jobs and livelihoods, I think specifically of our young people and women. Right now, youth unemployment is around 22%. The most young people in creative fields lack stable income. I know you've had a couple of guests on already, and I've heard some of the banter. And the reality is Show 24 directly addresses some of the components that are creating these unstable incomes. So we do this by creating dignified jobs in 6 value chains, specifically festivals, museums, and monuments, culinary heritage, textiles and fashion, Nkrumah legacy storytelling, and music and dance. We project over 1 million jobs by 2028 from everything from drummers in Tamale, fashion designers in Kumasi, to festival caterers in Cape Coast. So I said I've broken it down into 3 components. That first one being jobs. I'd also like to say boosting the economy and essentially strengthening our currency. So today, Ghana spends billions importing goods and services that we could produce here. Meanwhile, our cultural and creative exports are underdeveloped. So Show 24 focuses on building local creative industries so we can increase our cultural exports and attract more tourists and strengthen our economy. The last piece is just reclaiming and telling our own story. So many times foreigners use our textiles, music, festivals in their own brands, and we don't earn from it. So Show 24 puts us back in control. It protects our intellectual property, develops licensing platforms, and ensures that when our creativity is used globally, the economic benefits can flow back home.
Well, these are brilliant things in there, but some have also suggested that most of the things enshrined in this document are similar to those in the NDC manifesto and even what the Black Star Experience wants to do. What is the place of Black Star Experience in this whole initiative?
Oh, I think, there's a huge space for heritage tourism when we look at tourism internally. So the goal of the 24-hour economy, I just want to just be very clear, is really to coordinate some of the efforts that are already going on and ensure that we can capitalize on creating these jobs that are promised so that our citizenry win. so that locally we're able to supply to local citizenry, and any additional that we have ultimately gets exported out. So there's definitely room for partnership. There's definitely room for coordination, but there's no competition at all.
Okay, there's another thing about who supervises the Show 24. Which institution of government is responsible for that?
So Show 24 specifically is a subprogram of the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development. From here on out, you'll hear me call it 24H+. Now, saying that it's a subprogram may or may not really resonate with everyone unless I go back and talk about the fact that the 24H+ is built on 3 transformation pillars. We're looking to transform our production, so production transformation locally. And then we're also looking to transform our supply chain, and we're looking to transform our human capital. We do this within 8 subprograms, of which Show 24 is one. Now, so who houses Show 24 is a simple question to answer when composed in that fashion. But more specifically, I think if I was to talk about culture, arts, and tourism, we have our ministry, which is well equipped and able to take care of our Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and Creative Arts. So our ministry takes care on a national level of these components. Show 24 is simply a coordinating body attempting to focus on really transforming or catalyzing, I suppose, the creative industry.
Okay, the entire 24-hour economy project is estimated at $4 billion USD. Do we know how much Show 24 is going to cost us?
Show 24. So as far as costing us, we do have a number of projects that we will be rolling out on a rolling basis, so not all at once. But if you wanted to simply put it down into dollars, it would be right at about, well, I won't put it in dollars. I'll say this. It'll be less than, I think it's less than 10% of what we're asking for on a full program scale.
All right, we're still here talking to Samara Ba-Kodia, who is Program Lead, Social Transformation and Civic Engagement of the 24-hour economy. Please let me ask you this question as well. What are the timelines for this project?
Oh, our programs are rolling out now. So you'll have that every subprogram has some low-hanging fruit that are already being tackled. And within Show 24, that's no different. So we do have a number of, between now and 2028, we have certain goals. But over the course of the next 10 years, we also have some goals. So from a timeline perspective, you'll see things rolling out right now within the next 6 months, between now and December. We're completing some feasibility studies. We're already entering into a number of partnerships. So tangible results will be seen within the first year.
Okay, thank you very much. Lara Ba-Kodia, who is Programs Lead, Social Transformation and Civic Engagement. When we have some more questions, we'll call you to help us with that as well, right here on Daybreak Hits. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, so you just heard some Lara Ba-Kodia, who is Program Lead, Social Transformation and Civic Engagement, right here on Daybreak Hit 103.9 FM. And yeah, so we're talking about the 24-hour economy document, which speaks to the culture, arts, and tourism industries or sectors, and they've named it Show 24. Now, there is a big story that came or that is in that particular document that is about the National Cathedral, which the site which has been repurposed for the construction of a National Cultural Convention Center, which is to be built, and that is the big topic or the conversation that we're having this morning on Daybreak Hit 103.9 FM. Now, most people have varying opinions on this particular one, whether it is the right thing to do, whether it should have gone to a different place. Some are even talking about the trade fair site where we're supposed to have an exhibition center is still ongoing. I mean, the construction. Why do we need this at the cathedral site? And I have right here with me Edem Mensah Chotome and then Martinez. Let me pick your thoughts, Edem, on this whole document, the Show 24 aspect of the 24-hour economy, and then the big story that just emerged from that, the cathedral side, and any other thing you want to touch on. Yeah.
Kwame, I think I've looked at the document and the document looks very, laborious and has so many interesting things. I just don't wish it remains in the books. That's where we are good at as a country, where we are able to, put things on paper. But when it comes to taking the things off the paper to the ground,
implementation,
it becomes a challenge. It's my prayer. And why I say I like what has been captured in the document is that it addresses some of the issues we've talked about when it comes to the creative arts, the challenges. These are some of the challenges. I'm linking this to why they want to, set up that project as that NCC project. It says that, one, absence of that systemic constraint in our creative sector, 5 critical areas of the systemic constraints, absence of a national cultural mission. It says that Ghana lacks a coherent national vision for culture, arts, tourism as sector of economic transformation. We do not have a certain coherent vision which sees that tourism and art sector as a tool or a sector of economic transformation.
Okay.
And identify binding. Cultural expression is not yet treated as a strategic asset that contributes to GDP, employment, or national branding.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, we are gifted with the natural resources, the tall sites, so it's there. We are gifted with talent. People are doing music, but that intentionality, where we see it as an economic transformational tool, it's not there. That has always been our challenge. That has always been our challenge. As a country, we need to see beyond the talent of it, beyond the nature of it, and go into the economic aspect of it.
And for this particular one, we've spoken about it umpteenth time. Yes. It's not the first time you're hearing this, so it's no news to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And second, it says poor self-organization of creative communities. The Ghana's creative sector is officially organized into 14 creative domains.
Yeah.
But most are poorly resourced, lack cohesion. There is no unified national platform or apex body with credibility and capacity to coordinate, advocate, and develop sector strategies. And if you are a country which lacks this, where you have the domains, but there is no umbrella body which is strategically coordinating, but those bodies are just coordinating, not strategic. The sector will be where we are now. Now, the third point goes to say that inadequate infrastructure.
Okay.
The physical and digital infrastructure needed to support creative production is lacking at every level. Over 78% of community centers do not have space, equipment, or digital connectivity to support creative work. Only 23% of venues can operate beyond traditional business hours, making it difficult for part-time and emerging creative to access consistent performance space. I mean, we've talked about challenges with infrastructure, and clearly this document has, corroborated that facts that we've talked about, that we have not been intentional, because investment in infrastructure leads to development. Every developed country in the world has paid attention to infrastructure. So you cannot have a development in your creative sector without that requisite infrastructure development. And as a country, we need that paradigm shift. Now, coming to the fourth and fifth point, it talks about chronic underinvestment and capital gap. Chronic. Government after government. Ghana's creative economy suffers from structural underinvestment. In 2022, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture, Creative Arts received only 115 million USD, which is 10.5 million, less than 0.2% of national expenditure. So in the whole national expenditure, what the sector received was like 0.2, which is not even up to 1% of the national expenditure. Meanwhile, commercial banks allocated less than 4% of credit to creative business. And another reason, lack of formalization of the sector. It will be difficult for the banks to, give that support, because they also need to, get those monies back.
And all these things you are mentioning, they are the fundamentals. We know all these.
Yeah,
a minute. Even in the NDC manifesto, all these have been spelled out. Now the issue is, what are they going to do?
Yes. So now I'm linking this to.
Okay, let's go there.
So if you look at all of this they've talked about, and there was another point which is very crucial, which talks about with a chronic investment, underinvestment. It says that there is a point in where it talks about other countries like Kenya. You cannot compare yourself to Kenya when it comes to the issue of wildlife, among others. However, we have a certain beautiful aspect which we can sell to talk about our Pan-African story, to talk about our Kwame Nkrumah, because the whole Kwame Nkrumah is
the Ghana story.
Exactly. So, in order to further highlight on our strengths, it is why they want to now say that we want to change the narrative by one.
Let me help you as you take a break. Let me help you. So these are the things they want to do. One, Ghana's cultural history is not fully told, they say, neither to its people nor to the world. To address this, Show 24 will establish a national network of museums and monuments that bring Ghana's history and then drink water. Number two, Show 24 will treat Nkrumah not merely as a historical figure, but as a generative force for content, branding, and education. His life and ideas will be curated and disseminated across media formats, films, digital archives, exhibitions, literature, clothing, public installations, and educational materials. Then, number three, support will be given to small and medium-scale eateries, building on successful models like Asmera to scale up operations, improve branding, and expand culinary tourism. Number four, Show 24 will promote the development of a fully integrated fashion value chain from traditional textiles such as kente, fugu, edinkra, and batakari to modern garment design, production, and export. Number five, Show 24 will re-engineer Ghana's festival ecosystem, professionalizing festival production and curating them into structured cultural tourism experiences that can attract local, regional, and international audiences. Number six, Show 24 will build the full music and dance value chain, from training and production to rights management, live performance, and global distribution. Number 7, Show 24 will establish the National Creators Academy as a flagship institution to train a new generation of Ghanaian creatives in music, film, digital media, fashion, animation, and cultural performances. Number 8, Show 24 will build or revitalize over 250 community centers under the broader 24H Plus Community Center Network, transforming them into venues for training, performance, and production. These community centers will be upgraded to support 24/7 operations with digital connectivity, lighting, utilities, and security, essential for activating the nighttime economy. Community centers will be designed to activate the 6 strategic value chains. Number 9, there are a lot of them, I'll end somewhere.
Yeah.
Ghana's cultural calendar includes hundreds of regional and traditional festivals with export potential. Show 24 will launch a national initiative to professionalize, package, and promote these festivals as year-round tourism products for both local and international tourists. Let's go to 10. All viable creative businesses, take note, will have access to financing through 24H Plus value chain financing facility, which already provides tailored credit lines and equity options. Let's jump to 11. Show 24 will embed the Ghana story, you mentioned that earlier on, into public events, education, branding, and exports. 12. Show 24 will activate creative economy councils at the regional level to manage the rollout of community centers, regional festivals, and skill programs. 13. The National Cultural Branding Policy will be introduced by MOTCA, as Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, to embed Ghanaian symbols, language, textiles, and designs into across official infrastructure, government, communication, and public, converting the National Cathedral site into the National Cultural Convention Center in partnership with the AFTA Secretariat. This venue will serve as Africa's premier cultural diplomacy and creative economy forum, hosting international exhibitions, film festivals, trade shows, and summits, filling a critical infrastructure gap without conflicting with national values for faith institutions. Continue, then I come to Kaswa Simon Cowles, and then Sweetheart, how are you? Good morning, Rhea.
Good morning, Kwame Dad.
How have you been?
I'm fine, thank you.
Are you sure you're fine?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Second August, continue.
Yeah, so I mean, if you follow the challenges they raise and the need for us to be intentional, and all the things they want to do at different levels come to the national level. The national level gives you a picture of an intention of making sure that all of these cultural assets is not just there at culture, but some economic prominence is brought to it by that conversion of the National Cathedral into. And if you look at the project, it's in phases from 2026, even to the third final test stage being around 2030. So, I mean, if we are able to achieve this and the things which will be done there, it will bring a lot of economic importance. Because if you look at, I mean, the goal of AFTA, which is the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is to aim at creating a single market for goods and services across Africa, boosting intra-Africa trade and economic growth. So clearly, AFTA's goal will fall into this to create that market in there.
And its headquarters is in Ghana.
Of course. So if we are able to do that partnership and be able to put that there, then clearly Ghana is going to benefit economically from because the document tells us that the creative art contributes 2.5% to GDP. And
it is culture, art, and tourism altogether.
No, the creative sector
alone.
Yes, because I mean, tourism. If you look at the contribution, tourism at a point even contribute. That was 2022 or 2023? It contributed about 2.4% to GDP. So this is the creative, and they want to double that. So if you want to double the contribution of creative art to tourism to GDP, then it means you need to put measures in place. So it looks very good on paper. I want to see,
but I think we need to check that figure again because I don't think we have figures for the creative industry alone. It is a collective of tourism, art, and culture. Let's check that again. Let me come to you, Martinez. Your initial remarks before we get into the cathedral side. All right? Okay.
Kwame, this is very broad. You go into the document.
A lot. I call it Manifesto 2.
Yeah, so I was very happy when you asked that question, how different this is from the manifesto. I mean, when you sit and read through, analyze it properly, you could tell that they really planned
a lot of work into it.
The vision is clear. You can tell how they want to transform Ghana. If only this will be done. I mean, it will be a huge achievement for the government because clearly it's going to boost our tourism and creative art space. And that is what we've been looking out for. I think I am always waiting for a government that will prioritize the tourism, art and culture.
You've not seen that before?
I have not.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
But the document confirms that.
This particular one, I mean, it looks like Adam is highly motivated.
When it doesn't only end on the paper. We have a
so drafting it or
is one thing.
Yes.
Implementation is another.
That's where the challenge is. So most of the time, it's like going back to the MPP manifesto in 2016. Charlie. Now ultra-modern theaters and, they were able to convince a lot of us, creative space. Eventually, it became something else. And so somehow, for me, when I saw this in the first place, I was a bit skeptical about it because I feel like this is political talk. At the end of the day, we've seen this over and over and over. But some of the ideas and the vision varies.
Okay.
Yes. When you look at this one, when you look at the MPP's manifesto, at least they all had clear intentions of what they want to do. But looking at this particular one, connecting it to the Black Star experience and all of that, it's like there's a lot, for the country, a lot of great, opportunities in the coming years. And for me, I will urge government to take this initiative as a priority. It shouldn't be something just to convince us to let us feel they care about us or maybe they are showing concern. Then we get high hopes and the next moment we'll be calling them for answers and it becomes, banter on phone. Kwame, when you read through, somewhere I'm convinced. Clearly, you could tell why government has done its best to take measures to make data bundle allocation, better. Because the page 165 threw more light on how they are solely focused on the digital space. Because most of the youths are now there. Creating, content for themselves. And if we want to equip them, then we cannot do that without addressing the issues concerning data. And so, at least, we've seen it. When the idea came about, we were waiting to see if it would be implemented. And from 1st July, when I bought data, I saw it. That's also another side of it.
It depends on the apps. At times,
it's okay. Continue, Martinez. Are you done?
But clearly, we have to commend the government. Now, you look into the page 165 the breakdown of that particular
Is
the
it
breakdown
section?
of that particular call about session. Number 4, it says explosive growth in the global digital content markets. And according to PwC's Global Entertainment and Media Outlook 2024 to 2028, the global entertainment and media industry, which includes digital content sectors such as streaming, gaming, music platforms, and digital art, is projected to grow from $2.8 trillion US dollars in 2023 to $3.4 trillion US dollars by 2028.
Okay.
With significant contributions from digital platforms and services. Yet, Africa's share remains negligible. Negligible young, digitally literate population and growing access to broadband and mobile internet. However, it lacks structured system to monetize this talent and content globally. If properly channeled, Ghana's youth could become significant suppliers of global content, from animation, gaming to digital fashion and online performances.
You know this
Now-
is in their manifesto. You know, right? This particular one.
Okay, I heard that.
No,
I
I've seen
heard
it.
it
It's
in their
in it.
manifesto.
It's in it.
So
Especially using
so I think
people,
you asked-
content creators.
So you asked the question on the back of this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the 5, say youth creativity and entrepreneurship as scalable job engine.
Okay.
So Kwame, this clearly shows that government is prioritizing content creators' work.
Very important.
And for me, I am very happy about
Yeah.
it. Education
you
needs to be
you
done.
need to start content creation.
Yes, because I mean it's an area that a lot of people are making revenues from.
Yeah.
And we can see a lot of content creators in Ghana doing their
creation.
best. Yeah, clearly it's
Ria
it's,
can
it's-
do something about acting, giving tips about acting or stage performances and all
exactly.
that.
You know, we need to create platform to boost that. You understand? So if this amount of money, revenue is coming out of the content creation, how is the Ghanaian content creator also having his or a share from it? Definitely government need to step in. There should be that deliberate effort to, address the challenges over there, because look, a lot of people have smartphones. A lot of people, go on YouTube. Just make time to watch some of these content creators, works. And so you cannot, as a government, decide to help the creative sector without taking the content. I mean the online platforms or the digital area serious.
Okay.
I mean, for me, if they're able to tackle this challenge,
Yeah.
it will help, because content creators are really struggling. I mean, all of this, I want to look at that particular area. When it comes to education, it's very important, because even social media, how they're able to monetize their works is very important.
All right.
So first, addressing the data issue will help people to be able to patronize. And in fact, Kwame, my last point, encourage them to throw more light on our culture. Because all what you read and listening to please, the
I
name
think
again.
it is
The
stated.
woman
It
you
is
spoke-
It is stated that
It is
all
stated.
they're doing is to project our culture and our heritage.
Exactly.
That's
you
very instructive.
So you look at YouTube, you see
Yeah.
the content creation going on, throwing more light on their culture.
All right.
When it comes to our space, we should be deliberate about it.
Good.
So for me, the digital area in particular, I am much excited about that.
Thank you very much, Martinez. Let me come to Ria for her initial remarks, then we get into the cathedral topic. Yeah.
Okay, so for my concerns when it comes to this document, I may sound like a broken record on this show all
Yeah.
the time whenever I say I am an alumni of the School of Performing Arts.
Yes.
And I will forever be an advocate for my school and for other creative institutions.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. y'all can correct me if
Okay.
I am wrong.
Okay.
Because probably I just glanced through, but I read,
Yeah.
and I didn't see any specific part where they targeted School of Performing Arts, NAFTI, and there's this course they do in tech about tourism. I've forgotten the name of the course.
Okay.
But
Is it hotel management?
Not hotel management.
Okay.
It's tourism. It's something.
Tourism itself.
Yes.
Okay.
Hospitality.
No hospitality.
It's okay. You continue.
Yes. But I haven't seen what they are doing exactly about the people who are coming into the market that they are investing into. All right? Because let me talk about where I come from.
Yeah.
School of Performing Arts. Okay. I think I've spoken about this building before in the School of Performing Arts that was supposed to be an ultra-modern building where students... I go to... Because I work out in Legon, on Legon campus.
Yeah.
I take a walk on Legon campus a lot. I visit my department. I go and visit my former lecturers a lot. And it's sad that now we rely on benefactors to be able to help even fix our dance hall floors.
Yeah.
Let alone even concentrate on the building that was supposed to be. When I got to the school, the building had been there for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've completed school and the building is still there. At first, there was a fence around it. Now they've removed the fence and now you can see the building for what it is. And it looks like a neglected former edifice. I wouldn't call it an edifice.
Charlie.
You get it. And students are still... I would like to commend the Sutherland family, which is the family of Madame Ifwa Sutherland.
Yeah.
And I think her daughter is Professor Issy Sutherland. They gave us their drama studio. It is personal owned for us to have our theater examinations there, mount productions there, and all that. And I'm thinking, these are students that are coming into a market that you are saying that you are investing into. What expertise, what knowledge? If now I feel like when students even go there, the morale is down because I can decide to spend my whole 4 years probably as a directing student to mount a production, and then harsh weather can just destroy it. You understand me? So I don't know. Please, take a good glance at it and tell me what is happening even to NAFTI. Are they getting ultra mod? Because they said what they were talking about animation, digitalization, and all that. Like, where are they supposed to get the animation expertise? When we talk about animation,
they say they are creating the National Creators Academy. Okay. That would train these people.
Fine. I love the fact that they are training people, but how about the already existing ones? What about the already existing ones? What is there for us as students? Like when already we are struggling with coming out and paving our own way.
Yeah.
With our degrees. Some come out and they do things something totally different from what they studied. So I feel like they've done well. The government has done well. I mean, I read through it and it seems like a very big agenda.
Okay.
Seems like a very big agenda. I love I feel like it's an extension of their manifesto.
Exactly.
Which is not bad.
That's okay.
I mean, that means what you promised us in your manifesto, you are actually
working
on it.
That's good.
So for me, it's a step in the right direction. But remember that on the job market, there are students who have the expertise that are coming into that job market for you to have your 24-hour economy. So you have to pay attention to them in their developmental stages.
Great. All right, thank you, Ria. Now, let me take you through the stage before we come to the cathedral. So I'll give you 4 minutes each for that conversation. Now, there are timelines. Phase 1 is from 2025 to 2026. And then they say it will focus on institutional setup and early wins. This includes establishing governance platforms, launching the Ghana Story campaign, upgrading the first 50 community centers, and conducting the feasibility studies for converting the National Cathedral into the National Cultural Convention Center. Phase 2 is from 2026 to 2027, and it will drive national rollout. Key actions include launching the National Creators Academy, rolling out regional cultural programming, establishing 5 creative districts under the 24 H+ Community Center network, operationalizing the Ghana Cultural Passport platform, and integrating Ghana culture into national education systems. Last phase, phase 3, it will happen from 2028 to 2030, and it will focus on scaling export, global partnership, and legacy infrastructure. The NCCC will be commissioned as Africa's premier venue for cultural diplomacy and creative economy summit. Exports, platforms, diaspora investment schemes, and regional creative exchange initiatives will be expanded. Now, let's talk about the National Cathedral site being converted to the National Cultural Convention Center. Adam, let me start with you. What do you make of it?
I bet you.
How? It will take a long time?
Yeah, because the National Cathedral has so many encumbrances. You see, this is a $400 million project. And as at now, we've paid about 330 million or so Ghana cedis. The other one is in dollars, the whole cost.
Yeah.
And now, Yamfa blog in two form. Kwame, I'm sure that the Yoko and other investigative bodies are doing some full investigation. I mean, we saw the work Okujato Ablakwa did on the Nehemiah group where he went to America to go. So I think it's look at how some of the board members resigned, the pastor, Darky Ward Mills, among others. It's like it's a crime scene in a way.
So it shouldn't be touched? No,
it's not that. So I'm sure, when it comes to crime scenes, you don't touch it. There has to, they have to finish with the investigation before they touch it. Yes, you need time. You understand? Because it's like already we have, I'm sure, the new plan, if it is a proposal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if it is accepted, there was going to be some adjustment done to the design there.
Design, everything.
And I mean the back and forth, and if time I mean, it's a good plan because
so the idea of the National Cultural Convention Center is a good one.
Yeah,
but it's a good one. But it shouldn't be done.
It go delay, make them go somewhere else, because I'm sure by now there are a lot of investigative work going on. I mean, I'm not sure even the former president will be happy about the state of the project, and I mean the money we've sunk into it and the level of work done there. And
so they've given phase 3, 2028 to 2030 as when it will be commissioned.
Yes, I said it earlier, and it goes into 2030.
Yeah.
So time ni bia na ekono ye ka say kra time na eko ye nam 2030 kwan so na ekono. So for me, if it go delay, make them move to other place. But if we can still be within schedule, fine. I mean, because if we put that building there, we can also hold some national Thanksgiving services among others there. I mean, conference center, we've been doing church programs in the conference center. When this is completed, it can be used as a multi-purpose place, because because if you go to some of the countries, I mean, cathedral, the issues of cathedral, it has that tourism value, but I think this issue of the cultural NCCC has a lot more for tourists than just the cathedral. It's like a building, or it has some additional facilities, and a lot of economic activities will take on there, which will be a lot of more beneficial. And I mean, in terms of economic importance, it will be more beneficial than putting in place just the National Cathedral. But honestly, we really need to do a lot of investigative work on that National Cathedral project. And I'm not surprised that the Secretariat...
They are using this year, next year, to do feasibility studies on there.
Okay, make them do. But for me, economic-wise, it's a good project.
All right. Thank you, Adam Mensah Chotome, 2nd August. Yes, Martinez, let's hear you.
Kwame, whichever way, there should be a project over there.
Whichever way.
Whichever way.
Okay.
It cannot go just wasted. So, Adam, you said $400 million.
Yeah, for the National Cathedral.
For the National Cathedral. So right now, we don't know the amount this government is also going to put into it.
So there are feasibility studies.
Yeah.
So we are yet to know whether they are going to retrieve the $400 million and then build the center, or they are going to find another money elsewhere to come and do it. We are yet to know.
Again, say it again.
So we are yet to know whether they will retrieve the $400 million to embark on this project.
Cost.
Yes.
But other monies have gone into... The 400 is the total.
Is the total.
So we've paid some amount.
Some has already gone into it.
Yes, but still in two block.
And I'm sure the government is doing its possible best to retrieve that amount to start.
What I know is all this they're doing is a public-private partnership project. So it is between the government and
Which
private.
one?
This particular one.
The projects. Yes.
But that one with after.
Yes. No, okay. I will come to the after thing. There is something controversial about it, but you finish.
Okay, so Kwame, when you read one paragraph in the story, it says under the Show 24, the center will serve as the crown jewel in Ghana's creative economy infrastructure. Yes. It is projected to host large-scale events and exhibitions that will place Ghana firmly on the global cultural map.
Okay.
We've been talking about having enough theaters, event centers, auditoriums, and all of that. This will help. At least if they are able to put up, it's going to...
I'm not cutting you, but do you know that the Exhibition and Convention Center at the Trade Fair site, which is still under construction.
Yeah, it's also a partnership.
There is a convention hall that's supposed to take 20,000 people. Yeah. 20,000 people. And after it's supposed to have an office there.
Yeah.
This is still ongoing. It was commissioned in 2017.
Are you sure it's ongoing?
It was supposed to be ongoing. Okay, closer to the election, I saw work there. I've not been there since. Commissioned not commissioned. It was they began work there in 2017. Supposed to have finished around 2022 thereabouts.
Yeah, but it delayed.
So to serve same purpose.
Yes, and that is also tailored along the same model. Do you think it is right for us to put up this cultural convention center when we have another project like the exhibition center at the Trade Fair side ongoing and not even done yet?
Well, like I said, we need more event centers.
But can't we do one at a time?
Of course.
At a time when we are crying for no funding, no money, we now want $4 billion to start the whole 24-hour economy with.
I mean, every journey starts with a step.
Yeah.
And even when you look into this, there's a breakdown.
Yeah.
First phase, second phase. So meaning that's one at a time.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you are saying. Kwame, when you look into this whole National Cathedral thing, it's like the NDC has, in fact, a great interest in this particular, issue or this particular project. When the National Cathedral conversation started, we saw how the NDC was very active, opposing some of the ideas and all of that. I'm not saying they didn't say it was bad, but they raised huge concern. So now that the project is one way or the other dead. Let me put it that way. They feel they can capitalize on it, take advantage of it, because that place was, I think a place for judges. There were bungalows for judges, and they were demolished. And that raised a very huge concern at the time.
Yeah.
And so if we're able to demolish, these judges' bungalow, it means this was a very big concern, national concern, because of the steps taken towards it. Then here's the case: the high hopes that were brought into it. At least, if we are going to have this one way or the other, we were made to be convinced that definitely it's going to even serve as a tourist, attraction center.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, we had some interest, wanted to see how it would go. There was a move, and eventually nothing is happening. I believe that government should be able to continue the predecessors or the previous government when they assume power.
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Magokreku Mante, then Deputy Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture, was once here, and he made reference to that. In fact, he was very emphatic on that we should develop that culture. When a government has in power, you should be able to...
Because governance is a continuum.
Yes.
You don't end things like that.
You don't need to abandon them because
but you can't continue anything and everything, especially if you think it will not be beneficial to the people. The best you can do is to repurpose it. Exactly. Just like the NDC wants to do to the cathedral.
So this, I believe they are continuing it.
Okay.
Yes, because it's the same site.
Right.
Just that the plan, or the purpose is what has been changed. And clearly it's going to still serve Ghanaians. It's going to be beneficial to the ordinary Ghanaians or to the Ghanaians. At the end of the day, whether it's a National Cathedral, it's a theater, it's an event center, whatever, it is still going to serve a purpose.
All right.
It's going to bring income into the Ghanaian markets.
Thank you, Martinez. Ria.
Yes, please.
National Cathedral site. They want to use it for National Cultural Convention Center. Good idea?
Well, I was about to mention the one at the trade fair.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm wondering, so what's happening there now? What's happening at the trade fair center?
I have not been there in how many months? I think I was there in November. They had erected some structures over there. I haven't been there. Maybe we need to go there and see progress so far.
It is something about most of the governments that's come into power. Like, it's something, a big problem I have with them is that, fine, I mean, we voted you into power because maybe we were unpleased with your predecessors.
Yeah.
All right. But it couldn't have been all bad. You understand me? But it's more like everybody wants to be the pioneer of something.
Yeah.
So then they ignore or neglect good prospects that the previous government started, and then they start their own. I mean, the site for the cathedral, I would say, is a very painful part of most Ghanaian lives, because, I mean, I am a Christian.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I wasn't totally opposed to the National Cathedral. But it looked like, allegedly, okay, it looked like a power grab or a sharing of a national cake of some sort, okay? So it left a bitter taste in my mouth. I'm like, if that exactly is what is happening, then these people don't fear God, So it's kind of a painful something that never happened, all right? So, I mean, if they want to change it, I don't think it's a bad idea, but to neglect what was happening at the trade fair center,
they will do both at the same time.
But it doesn't seem if they were going to do it, knowing how in depth of a structure that they have put across, and they are telling the public that, okay, this is what I want to do. All right, they would have mentioned it.
Okay.
Do you understand me? I mean, if you have thought of doing something, like, let us know, because it doesn't look good for you either.
Yeah.
Because I remember we're talking about the creative arts and all that. I remember Fantasy Dome was demolished at Trade Fair Center.
To make way for the construction
exactly.
of the convention center.
Exactly. So businesses have been demolished. So many things have been I took a drive around that side at I think I was there last week.
Okay.
And it looked like a dead village. You understand? So is it that it's because it's another government that started it, we are going to neglect it?
It shouldn't be so. It should be continued.
So it's like, I have a saw here. I want to treat the saw is looking infected. I want to treat it. I go to the doctor and they're like, another doctor has checked on the saw, so let me treat you for malaria. You understand me?
Yeah.
It's like, don't look here. This one is shinier, but it's not looking good at the other side either.
I get it.
So if you, I don't.
It's a big one. Let's see how it pans out. Still right here on Daybreak Hits 103.9 FM. We have just a few minutes to go, but before we go, let me give you 30 seconds each for your final words. Then we say goodbye to our listeners. Adam Mensah.
Yeah, for
all
me,
your shouts, everything in this.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to who today?
I think that as a country,
we
need to be pragmatic because we've paid a lot of lip services to the creative sector, and the document speaks for itself that there has not been any intentional efforts to see the sector for its economic benefit. Rather, we've just allow it to happen naturally, and we've not been able to, reap the necessary benefit which other countries like US, America, UK, among others, are benefiting from the sector. So I really want to see this as, a stepping stone to changing the narrative.
Good. Thank you, Adam Mensah. No shout today? Okay, it's okay. Martinez.
Shouts to Mr. Haga.
2nd August.
You cry.
Ebeye kikim. Ebeye boy. Nano kwa mi be yin to ha. Continue.
The demolition exercise is getting too much. Like Ria just brought to our attention, Fantasy Dome was demolished as a result of, putting up an event center where we are going to have all this kind of,
But it wouldn't be there forever, though. It would automatically be demolished to make way for the construction. So,
but the purpose, and now you come to the National Cathedral too, there was a demolition exercise.
Okay, of their buildings.
So if we cannot just be demolishing and just leave everything agile, drop it, and it's like we don't know what we are about. So there should be some deliberate move to make a good purpose of some of these things, because if care is not taken, we will end up demolishing the whole of Accra.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we will not be able to come out with anything. And it will be a dead village, as Ria is saying. It's sad. But whichever way, I want to see the NDC do it best.
Good.
To implement all this, talk.
Okay.
Let me put it that way. Because on paper,
it looks good.
It's like when you stick a bet.
It looks tantalizing.
When you stick a bet and you look at your slip experience, it looks so good. But the reality is what matters.
They do.
But Kwame, let me send a big shout to
Today is you.
Today there is no 2nd August.
He's another listener
Who?
of the show. I'm the tailor at Osu. He's a fashion designer.
She is.
He.
Okay.
Yes, I'm the tailor. Flame Gucci. So wherever you are, big shout to you.
Okay. Ria.
Okay, so for me, as Martinez has said, it looks good on paper.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my trauma talking, because I don't like to say I've seen it before or I've heard it before. But this is a new phase of the NDC. And even with how they've treated most of the creative arts, the people in the creative art who are in the party,
Yeah.
it seems like they are progressive and they respect us as creative arts people. So I wouldn't cast our past experiences on them. I'm hopeful, and I would like to encourage them that, listen, we are here for you. Do what you want to do, and I feel like, listen, with the appropriate attention to us, they are going to go far, because I mean, nobody sits down to craft something like this and decide that, okay, we've done it and we've given them hope, so let's walk away. So let's see what they can do. I'm not sure if they can do everything at a go,
all right,
but let's see what they can do to help.
Thank you very much, Ria Anakwa, to you. Kaswa Samukao Martinez and then Adam Mensah Chotame for coming through. It's being the showbiz review here, and Betway has a message for you. They say Betway Scratch and Win is back with a bang, with a hopping 9 million Ghana cedis prizes ranging from cash, free spins, free flights, and more up for grabs from 1st to 31st July 2025. But how do you take part? If you're asking, simply log into Betway, bet on sports or casino, and you'll get your daily scratch card. From there, it's just scratch, match, and win, with every day being another chance to strike it lucky. Only on betway.com.ga today. Terms and conditions apply. It's been regulated by the Gaming Commissioner of Ghana. Bet responsibly. Betway gets way more. And